All right, everyone, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Regular season football is finally here. Exciting stuff. Obviously, we're going to be talking Detroit Lions against the Kansas City Chiefs, and there were a lot of guys that really stepped up for the Lions in that critical, awesome week one victory for Detroit. But there's one guy in particular, rookie Sam La Porta, the tight end, that really jumped off the page. This guy looks like an absolute beast for the Detroit Lions, and we're going to break down some film of his cut ups today. But before we get into that, as always, leave us a like, leave us a comment with any feedback you have. We really appreciate it. And if there's another guy you want us to break down and review over film, let us know in the comment section as well. But without further ado, let's get into the film. All right, so the Detroit Lions were able to succeed running the football for the most part with a lot of creative and physical schemes. This is one of my favorite ones that you'll see probably in a long time in the NFL. There's a lot of people that call this a crunch or wham bam scheme, and that's literally what it's called, kind of a great name. But what you're going to see here is you're going to see a lot of pulling action for the offensive linemen. So you're going to see this guard's going to pull and kick out him. The right tackle is going to release this way. You're going to see this guard pull and kick out that defensive tackle. The center is going to work up here. You're going to see the right tackle block out here, and you're going to see LaPorta at tight end right here. He's going to pull and kind of wham this three technique. We call him a three technique because he's on the outside shoulder of that guard there. So we call him a three. And basically, there's two things you're trying to do. You're with these pulling guards, you're trying to get these linebackers here to just take a step that direction, while meanwhile create a seal and a seal here to run right here in between the two. And you're going to get the slot receivers going to have to really do a great physical block right here, really get aggressive down in there. But the key block is LaPorta, rookie tight end, one-on-one against a three technique defensive tackle. That's a tough block. Let's see how he does. And then we see the pulling. Look at that. Great job right there. Look at that physical activity by LaPorta. Gets in there. Watch this drive, though, and buries him into the dirt. That is awesome stuff. Here, let me rewind that all the way back. I mean, that is beautiful. I mean, this is beautiful across the board. If you're a Lions fan, you got to love this. You got your veteran right tackle doing a great block on the defensive end, your slot receiver blowing up the safety. And again, you can see all the pulling action I talked about before. Look at 50 and 32 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Watch the first step, right? You step to the right, get upfield. You see the seal here. You see the slot receiver getting down on the safety. You can just see this hole open up. The running back hit it, run hard. Really nice job up front. Great design by the Lions. But again, focusing on the rookie here, bodying up a three technique and driving him into the ground like that, that is awesome stuff from the rookie.
Yeah, Nick, this is really great to see for me personally because up until this point, we've been doing a lot of preseason games. Now we get to see a whole team in real game action doing their thing. This is beautiful by the Lions, but the thing that impresses me most about LaPorta, and I want to know your thoughts on this. This is a guy coming out of college, definitely a big-time receiving threat. He was graded by PFF 80-plus receiving grade. Not as great of a run blocker, 53 run block game, but it really seems he's picked it up. He's worked on his craft, and I'm seeing a great blocker here. This is a guy that knows what he's doing. He knows the scheme. A great offensive line by the Lions probably helps, but this looks like he's really been honing in his craft, don't you think?
I tell you what, this guy looks like a young George Kittle. We've got a lot of great cut ups here of him doing a lot of great things in the blocking game that remind me of Kittle. But you don't get a lot of tight ends that have just the physical nature, a lot of great receiving tight ends certainly that have the physical nature to come in and block a defensive tackle. But I love his speed. I love his drive. I love his effort. Finishing block. That's elite level stuff, right? There's some good blocking tight ends. I'll throw their hat in the ring right there and get physical to open up a block, open up a hole. But just stay on the guy and drive him into the ground like that. I mean, I could watch that all day, Miles. That is outstanding stuff from this rookie tight end. All right, so the Lions once again are doing some really creative stuff up front with their running scheme, showing off a lot of physical nature here. Here they've got an interesting kind of counter play concept. And what you're going to get is you're going to get double teams here to the backside linebacker. You're going to get a block back from the center. You're going to get the play side tight end, trying to block up to this play side linebacker number 54. You're going to get the backside guard pulling to kick out George Karlaftis, the defensive end for the Kansas City Chiefs right here. You're going to get this tight end blocking back and checking that defensive end, and you're going to get LaPorta screaming around on a pull here, wrapping all the way around for the middle linebacker, Nick Bolton right there, number 32, I believe. You're getting kind of a counter action from the running back and working this way. This is a kind of a long, slow developing play for the offense. It requires a lot of great blocks. specifically out of your two pulling offensive linemen. You need a great double team as well. Let's check out how everyone does here. This is, I think, the potential game-winning play. It ended up being the Detroit Lions. So you see the pulls, kick out, finish, touchdown, Lions going to win. This is outstanding work up front, really across the board. Right, double team is solid. You like a little bit more the linebacker, number 50, but they get on him there. Sewell does a good job coming off. You like your guard to stay on the double team a little bit more, but I mean, that's really nitpicking there. You have your backside guard pull, blast Karlaftis, create a big hole. Play side tight end gets on 54. I believe that's Chanel. Great job on him there. I mean, just across the board, great block backs by everybody. But again, young tight end, showing off his athleticism, showing off his physical nature. That's a good linebacker. Bam. Stays on him. You talk about well blocked, well executed. That is about as big a hole as you're going to see in the National Football League across the board. Amazing steal here on this side. The pullers did everything they got. They got their head in the right spot. They got bodies on bodies. Everything is cut off beautifully. Running back into the secondary, finishes off the run. Touchdown. Lions win. A lot of great blocking across the board. Great play design by the Lions. But I tell you what, it doesn't work at all if you don't have a tight end that has the athleticism, the 1-2, and the talent to make that block on a really good linebacker, Nick Bolton. And LaPorta has it. He's going to be a special player for the Lions.
Yeah, Nick, and I think the thing you said, I really got that out of this, the want to. He does not slow down for contact whatsoever here. He barrels into Bolton, blows it up, really opens up the play. That play is off the back of him to be able to get that hole open for the touchdown. But we're talking about Nick Bolton here. This is one of the top 10, I'd say, best linebackers in the NFL last season. Top 10 for sure, and run defense grade. He graded out at 81.4 last season. And this is LaPorta, again, coming out of college, saying that he's not that great of a run blocker, showing he's really worked on things. He is looking very good for this Lion team. How impressive is it to you that he goes up against a guy in Bolton who was such a great run defender last season and is able to throw a crunch time block when it really mattered, when it came down to the end of the game, Nick, to win it? He was able to be dependable and reliable enough to get this block underway.
Well, it tells you what? It tells you that Johnson, the offensive coordinator, and the Lions coaching staff have seen a lot of this in camp, right? Because you obviously don't call this play in the fourth quarter on the road, down by 6, need a touchdown, unless you have a lot of confidence in your tight end. And they obviously do. And look, for good reason. You brought up how great Nick Bolton is against the run. Nick Bolton, I'm not, there's some things to clean up from Bolton's perspective, but he's not totally out of position, right? He reads, let me back up just a little bit there. He sees a pulling guy or someone action coming. You see how he keeps a square base. You see how kind of sees it, tries to brace into it. But guess who goes backwards? Not LaPorta, but the great, so-called great run defending linebacker. He's the guy that goes backwards. He sees it, throws his body into LaPorta, and guess who goes backwards? Bolton. That's a physical play. And LaPorta wins that matchup. And that's hard to do, right? It's one of those things to pull flat and then cut up field and then lower your head into somebody like that and do a great job. Not easy, but LaPorta makes it look easy. I tell you, when I say George Kittle 2.0, it looks more and more like it every play. All right, here we go. The Lions, a little more simpler kind of run scheme here. Here they've got 3 tight ends on the field. A lot of action here on the right side of the offense, the left side of your screen there. This is kind of just a standard kind of run concept here. You're going to get basically base blocks. You're going to get double teams to this linebacker, working up this way. You're going to get double teams this way, working up to 32, Belton here. And then you're just going to get a lot of kind of reach blocks from these tight ends here. Just getting on these linebackers and edge players here. And the goal, this is just an inside run. It's kind of designed to really work between the guards here to the running back. Just kind of a power run. See if you can get a good double team action and break through. But the key thing here to focus on LaPorta all the end, this is what really jumped out at me. We talked about on his first 2 plays, the ability to be aggressive, but also to move his feet, show great drive, and play to the end of the whistle and get movement. He shows all of that on this play. Watch, he gets on him, squares him up, and drives him. Again, doesn't jump off the screen, right? The first 2 plays kind of jumped off the screen a little more physically. But I tell you what, to square him up like this and to get him driving, stay on him and drive him 4 yards upfield, you want to turn 1-yard runs into 4-yard runs. It's this kind of effort. Because again, he's got to reach him, right? He's got to square up on him. If he can't get him completely sealed off, his job is to kind of drive him up the field, get vertical movement. Again, he's kind of leveraged to the inside, right? Number 6 is on his inside shoulder. He needs to make sure number 6, first of all, doesn't crash inside here and blow up this running play at the line of scrimmage or the backfield. If he can't get him completely cut off, you have got to get moving up the field. Look at where number 6 starts, right at that 5-yard denomination. He gets squared up and driven back. Look where he ends up, 4 yards off the ball. That's great movement from the tight end right there. And it gives you a chance, right? Obviously, the double teams inside are what really drives the play. But again, you can see how the running back works here as he kind of works through the double teams in the trash before lowering his shoulder. If you get movement out of these blocks here on the perimeter, it allows your running back to fall forward and turn it into a productive play. That's exactly what the Lions did. I mean, all their tight ends, I think, did a really nice job. I think the double teams inside could have been a little bit better, but not terrible, all things considered. Chiefs are obviously playing run in this situation. But again, you look at LaPorta, you look at these other tight ends staying on people, driving people, getting movement. You get 4 or 5-yard runs against the defense that's doing everything it can to stop the running game. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, Nick, and like you said, again, I noticed the effort from LaPorta and driving his feet and taking that guy back. And it's when things break down. Like you said, he wants to steal that guy off. When he's not able to do so, that's the key here. He knows what to do when things break down. He doesn't give up. He keeps driving his feet, driving the guy down the field when it doesn't go exactly the way things are planned. So this is a guy from a rookie who sometimes you see these guys will panic a little bit. They don't know what to do. They kind of mess something up. A play gets blown up. Not from LaPorta, showing that he knows exactly what to do and he knows exactly what's coming up in this play, and he does his part beautifully. I think, like you said, Nick, this has to be very inspiring for Lions fans to know that you've got a guy who not only caught some nice passes in this game, but he's such a good blocker for your already great blocking offensive line. He's really good at it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things you can tell. Either they just try and find prospects and young players that have a lot of the motivation and effort, or they teach it, or both. But this is a well-coached in terms of being physical, tough, high-energy team. Look at Sewell here, right? Throw the guy to the end at the end and jump on top of him. Again, I don't know how legal that is. I mean, I kind of like it. I'm glad there's no call there. But you can tell this is a team from the Detroit Lions that across the board to a man, high energy, physical, run their feet. And LaPorta is just embodying that 100%. I mean, this is a great effort here. Love the finish, love the drive, love the movement. 4-yard run when the defense is doing everything they can to stop it. Complete win for the Detroit Lions there up front. All right, here we have another example of LaPorta's talent as a blocker in this situation. So the Lions are kind of, again, running a sort of interesting scheme, and you're going to get some double team action here between the guard and the center up to that linebacker. You're going to get double teams inside here, working up to Belton, again, number 32. And you're going to have Karlaftis in this situation. Again, you see him here at tight end. He's going to try and reach and cut off Karlaftis, defensive end number 56 for Kansas City. Then, again, you see it's kind of hard because Karlaftis inside of him here. Right here, this is a tough situation. But I think this is almost a designed bounce play for the running game. So I think the Lions want to attack here and then bounce outside. It happens very quickly. But in order to do that from Karlaftis' perspective, from LaPorta's perspective against Karlaftis, he has obviously got to make sure he stays on him, stays square, but get Karlaftis to move that direction. And the best way to do that is to threaten to cut off Karlaftis. LaPorta does a great job here doing just that. Look at that. See how he completely cuts him off? Again, I want you to look at where the heads start on this play. You see LaPorta is on the outside of Karlaftis' head right there. You see LaPorta's head. You see Karlaftis' head. You see how LaPorta's outside of it. Look where it ends up. Right? Basically, maybe even LaPorta a little bit. There's certain situations like right there, he's actually inside of Karlaftis. That's essentially cut off. And what that forces Karlaftis to do is to fly down inside. Look at the compression of how this works out here. Look how far Karlaftis is inside. You see this bounce, this natural bounce that happens here? I mean, look on this hole on the outside. Now, there's a corner out here, right, where it's one-on-one in this space. But this is a terrible situation for a corner to be in. This should be a touchdown. Running back loses his footing here. Otherwise, it is a touchdown. But again, that's because Sam LaPorta, by working inside like that, again, keep your feet, dude. Should have been a walk-in. Ugh. But again, if you look at LaPorta, right, working hard, being a great athlete, getting your head inside like that, forcing Karlaftis. Because remember, as far as Karlaftis knows, schematically, it could be an inside run play right up this hash. So if Karlaftis gets cut off right here from LaPorta, if it is that run, then the running back could cut back right up the middle here if it was that call and be a walk-in touchdown. So Karlaftis has to make sure he doesn't get cut off. But he gets cut off, he has to fly inside. By the time he realizes what happens, he has no chance to make the play. Again, look how huge. Look how much green grass there is right there. When you work hard and you're a great athlete in these kind of blocks, you make the read for the running back so easy. This is what I love from LaPorta: the effort, the athleticism. Again, it doesn't fly off the screen when you first watch it, maybe on the broadcast, but this is really good stuff from the young tight end.
Yeah, Nick, and I'm convinced at this point this is Dan Campbell's thumbprint on these tight ends. Being a former tight end himself, he's got to have these guys fired up to come out and play every single day because, like you say, consistently what we're seeing is effort, 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 willingness to come up in the run blocking game, something that isn't that easy for maybe a guy that's a little bit undersized for a tight end, not the same size as an offensive lineman. But these guys seem inspired to play. They're coming up to the line and really great run blocking so far, don't you think?
Yeah, I think definitely Dan Campbell, of course, being a former NFL tight end, certainly plays a role. But I will say this: I've always been a big believer is that you can't coach effort. I mean, you can try and maximize effort from players, but in terms of want to and effort and energy, that's not something you can coach. You just innately have it, and LaPorta does, right? And it's competitiveness, it's want to, it's drive. This is just an effort play. Obviously, there's a lot of athletic talent that goes into it. But I tell you what, there's a lot of tight ends that right there would kind of at this position would kind of just stop and give up and just let it go what happened. But he stays working inside, stays on Carl after another second or two, gives running back a little bit more space, could have kept his feet, and he walks in. But from LaPorta's perspective, great effort, great job. That'll do for the Lions all season.